Okay, well, this is going to be a really crappy video, I'm sure, because my microphones are rolling around on the desk, my bunch of cables over the place blocking my mouse, and this is a TV screen, which is the biggest one I have, but the resolution is not, of course, so great. But let's go. So, we'll start the project. It takes about 30-40 seconds to load up the data. I can make that happen a lot faster, but I'm not worried about it right now because I just have a little short file I use for test purposes. It only takes a few seconds. So this is you were wondering, Jerry, earlier about this spiky stuff. This is actual real places where the bottom is bumpy and rift and all that, but it's nothing like that in real life. The water depth is about 5,000 meters, and the depth of the shark dives is probably on average about 300 meters, maximum about 500 meters, so you need to stretch it out vertically. You probably can't quite see it in the video yet, but the little wiggly line underneath the red line is the shark track, and if you left it at normal elevation without stretching it out vertically, then that would just be another flat line right underneath the red line. You wouldn't see any of the wiggles, so you stretch it out vertically, and that makes all the bumps much higher. Like this is Mauna Kea in Hawaii, which is 4,000 meters, but so it's pokey up into the air just like these other things are pokey up from the bottom. So let's do something here. I can right mouse button down. You can probably see the arrow moving around if I move it enough in the view. Now with the right mouse button down, you're in flight mode, so you got pitch and yaw from the mouse, and then Q, W, E, A, S, D, F, standard kind of keyboard movements to fly in, so you can zoom in and take a look at stuff. You can spin around and see something here. That's not very good for what I want to show, anyway. So on the right side there's this color bar, which is temperature. I don't know how well you can see it in the video, sorta. Yeah, my damn cable's in the way, tripod's in the way, everything's in the way. I guess you guys are used to that too. So you can see the yellow. If you look at yellow on the bar over here, it's about 22 degrees, so the surface up here is about 22 degrees. Down deeper, it's about, the temperature is down. If you look at the color again, it's kind of cyan bluish, is about 9 degrees C. And you can also, you won't be able to see it in the video, but up on the left over here there's a HUD that tells you your position in latitude and longitude and your altitude or depth. So right now it's at minus 504 meters. And if I moved up, there's 3 speeds on this motion. You can go fast, or you can go normal, or you can go slow, and get up close to these things. And then you can also do straight, vertical, and horizontal if you push the right one. And so if you're looking straight at it, it says it's about 309 meters deep right here. At some point I will have it like click on and it'll give you more information without having to fly up to it and figure out where you're at, but for now that works pretty good. And let's see what else I want to show here. Let me back out of here a little bit and get back up above. Actually, let me zoom it, see if I can zoom in on that position from here without screwing everything up. May not be worth the trouble. That's not worth the trouble. I'll do something different. I want to show that update working, but I think you can believe me that the numbers change when the camera flies. So let me get a little higher here. Gotta remember to push the right mouse button. Even I forget every once in a while. If you don't push the right mouse button, you're in menu mode, and then it doesn't do anything with flight-wise. So now in menu mode I can pop up a menu by pushing the M button, or actually this M menu actually works either in flight mode or in menu mode, but you can only access it by meaning to push the buttons when you're in menu mode. And I know you can't see that, so let me make this a really horrible video and pick the camera off live and Mine is a very famous cinematographer, Al Giddings, underwater. Does, I mean, big movies like the Titanic and the James Bond movies and stuff like that, so I will never let him see this. So anyway, that is the menu. It automatically scales for the number of animals. So if there was 6 animals, there'd be 2 more marks on it. Where's my mouse? There it is. So you've got your animal identification number here, which at some point you'll be able to click on it and pop up another information about who the animal is, real name, or well, we give them names like notch fin and other crazy things like that. But so you'll be able to pop up the size and when it was tagged, how long it was tagged, and where it went, and all that kind of stuff as a a little bit of metadata, I guess you want to call it. It has also these set color buttons, which are the color, which are, as you can see here, just all red. As you can't see here, they're all red because they have the profiles underneath. You can actually turn off the profiles, so that's the 3D track stuff, and then in fact you can turn off everything. So I'll turn off the profiles, so now you can see a bunch of red lines there. So it's kind of hard to tell which animal is which. But if you hit the set color button, then you can use the temperature bar as a color picker. So you can left click and slide on it, or just left click and pick. And you can see now that track up there is changing. That track closest to the coast there is changing color as I slide up and down the color bar. So that gives you a way to identify. And if once you pick the color and let off the left button, it retains the color in the button, so you know which one is which. So animal 1909001 is now yellow. It's that yellow track up there. So let me put this back before you get seasick. I won't even try and use show you the HUD changing, because that would require like 3 arms. So you can set each color. I'll leave that one red and change this one to yellow, or not, that one's yellow. I'll change that one to sort of turquoise. I'll change this one to purple or something. So now there you can identify each one uniquely just by looking. You don't have to try and figure out which one's running over which. So if you get down in close, and you can see the colors, and doing as line renderers do that billboarding thing, which can be good and bad. You can see now you can get a better idea of what's going on there, even though it's still kind of messy because they do run around over each other a lot. You don't actually have to leave that menu up once you've done that. You can then go and look at it and get it out of the way. But in order to animate, you kind of need to have it up. If you saw when I had the close-up going, you can turn off everything. I'll leave the second one. That second one down is the one that runs out from California to around Hawaii and back. So I'll turn all of them off except that one. But if you hit the animate button, it takes off and goes. You see it's only the surface tracks, because there's not too much data, it's just, whoops, wrong way, go pretty fast, because this is all just, there is real-time clock information in the data, which I will use for the animation at some point soon, but right now it's just running off a timer that fires off each line renderer after a fixed time, and it runs around back behind Hawaii for a while and then comes back again. So that's about as exciting as that gets. But you can also not just animate the surface track. You have to turn off animation. The animate is a toggle, because if you leave the surface track on and the animate on at the same time, it wouldn't work basically. So you actually have to toggle the animate, and then you can turn the surface back on as a single entity or not. But you can also animate the profile, which is a lot more data, so it takes longer. So you can see it running along here right in front of San Francisco Bay right now, and now it's turning offshore heading west, and it's picking up a little speed. You can see it also getting down into some warmer water as it turns yellow and then white, and you can get down, let me get the menu out of there, fly down with it, and whoops, not too deep. It's not that I can't fly it, so that I have these cables all over my desk, so I keep running into things. There we go. I'm blocking myself. So this view where you're actually like this running alongside, people really like, because they like to see where it's going and what it's doing while it's there, so to speak. So in fact, if you look at Google Earth sometime and look at all the different layers they have available, you'll see an ocean layer. That was actually put together by us, except Google was doing the animation stuff, and they never could get this this view, this fly alongside view, I guess however you want to call it, working. And I'm having trouble doing it manually. I keep going down, but but with Unity, it's gonna be easy, because all you got to do is put a you know, an invisible game object out on the end of the line renderers and just have the camera follow, and so you get this nice. Why in the hell do I mean keep going down so much? I must have the pitch all screwed up bad. But anyway, you get the idea. You can fly along, and God, I've never had this much trouble. Oh, I see. I am sitting on top of a USB cable with the mouse. That's the problem. There we go. That's a little better. So you can fly alongside. It's now back behind Hawaii. Got a little carried off on that. So it's running around back here. You can notice that it looks really choppy, the track here, and it is. But the reason is because it's moving very slowly. The line renderers are the same length in time, not in distance. So that was a very short time. So, or it's not a short time, but a slow speed. Let's put it that way. You know, time times distance, velocity. You know, all that kind of stuff. Time times velocity, distance, whatever. And white was a really bad color to choose where I chose it in my color bar, so I got to fix that, because temperature's about 17-18 degrees everywhere here, so that makes it kind of hard to see as it's all white. But I'll fix that. But anyway, you can see here where the line renderer is broken, and so it made a relative to what's happening here. It was moving much faster here because the line is longer, so it's the same length of time, so it went farther. So that kind of thing. So even though I don't have a real-time clock, which I will put up as a display up next to the position HUD for when it's in animate mode, it'll actually count down in real time, date, month, year, you know, seconds, hours, whatever, when it's running. And this just gets messier and messier back here. Eventually it'll spin out and right at, and then head back to California, but we don't need to sit and wait for that, I guess. But you get the idea. You can fly along and take a look at it. Putting a animated shark out on the end, you can have the camera follow that, I guess, as opposed to an invisible game object would be fine too. But you can fly. This thing does have terrain avoidance of a sort. If you get within 10 meters of something, it will stop both forward and down, and it stops all the motion, but it doesn't stop rotation, so you can actually spin off, and once there's two rays, one at castAR 10 meters forward and castAR 10 meters down. Once you clear both the rays by rotation, then you can start moving again. That way you don't dive through the bottom, that kind of thing. So it's kind of, you know, if you fly in and crash, then you have to rotate your way out again and take off again, but at least it doesn't fly through the bottom. And then you, Jerry, were wondering about this spiky stuff. I think did I tell you that already? I don't remember. I think I was starting to, maybe. But anyway, because these dives are so shallow relative to the total depth, it's like 5,000 meters here, and that's probably like 200 or 300 meters. If you had it on a 1-to-1 scale, you wouldn't see any of this action in the dives. So you have to blow it up vertically. So what happens is these little bumps on the bottoms get blown up the same way. So this is probably, you know, a 1,000-meter bump is blown up, you know, looks huge, whereas this 300-meter dive is blown up enough that you can see it, but it's not that huge. But anyway, that's about what it is. So, and it's about correct. This is Catalina Island over there, but most of California is cut off on the edge there, so that's all you see. And then you go out to Hawaii here, the altitudes are correct. If you could see the HUD over there, you'd see that this is Mauna Kea, the mountain, and it says we're about 4,300 meters, and I think officially it's like 4250 or something like that, so it's pretty close. And without, with trying very hard, I could actually do better by, squaring it up relative to the world and coming in closer and all that. But anyway, the positions and all that are correct, so the depths and everything are fine, the altitudes and all that. So eventually this track will swing back, and the cables again are in the way. There we go. These it'll eventually get back over here and then restart. So that's about as exciting as it gets right now. I will have, like I say, a few more features in it soon, but thought I'd get you something to at least play with when you feel like it. So that's that for now.